Good evening and welcome to Carter's Shed. Finally, I have the space to build my ideal shed. I'm aiming to make it as lean and efficient as possible. It's great to share the journey with you. The shed is 5.2 metres by 3.1 metres, that's 17 by 10 in freedom units if you prefer. The frame's constructed with 3x2 timbers. Redwood weatherboards are 16mm, which would be somewhere between half to 3/4 of an inch, and they have been covered in a good few coats of paint. I hate painting, but it was worth the effort. The 1.2 metre window is double glazed. A future project will be to add shutters on the outside. I've added guttering, and you can see the pad for what will be an add-on to free up some internal space. Power will also be coming into the shed via the conduit that has been trenched in. This will save me having to run an extension lead from the house. Welcome to the inside of my shed. My next project is turning the door into a safety door. In episode 2 you will see the safety door receive the same treatment as the internal walls. The walls were first covered in breathable membrane. Next, 70mm, that's 2 3/4 inches of sound deadening insulation was fitted. To finish the wall, 9mm or a 1/4 inch ply was used to sheet the wall. This gives a wall thickness of 96mm or just under 4 inches. All this has done a great job containing sound in the shed, which means that my neighbours, but more importantly Mrs. Carter's shed, won't be disturbed by me banging about in here. Before and after sound readings were taken, I used Stevie Wonder's Superstition on full blast as the baseline. The reading showed a drop from 69 decibels to 52 decibels. Now, let's take a look at the space in virtual reality. The plan, for now, will look something like this. As we come into the shed, on the left will be a fixed workbench with storage drawers below. Above the workbench will be a small tool wall, and above that will be power tool storage. My original thoughts was to have this workbench the full width of the shed, but I'm now leaning towards having a 2.4 metre or 8 foot workbench instead. This is for a couple of reasons. It's the length of a full sheet of plywood, so that would make for easier construction. It would also leave a nice space at the end that could be utilised for a timber storage rack and have space for sheet timber. As we pan to the right, we can see a representation of what will be a custom-made MFT table. As this is a small space, I don't plan to have a table saw or miter station. Instead, the track saw will be the workhorse. This MFT bench will be on casters so it can be moved around the shed to create space where needed. This adds flexibility to the space. I have the top torsion box designed, but for what's going to go below that, that's still to be decided. I want to try and keep this back wall as clear as possible to try and give me the feeling of space. Now, looking at the second short wall, this will be built out with lots of storage drawers. The sound system and TV will be sited here. Storage for paints, finishes, glues and other aerosols will also find a home here. The HEPA air filter might also be built into this area. On to the last wall. Here I'm going to have some mobile tool stations. Now, let's take a look at the space from a plan view. Here we can see the MFT table and the 3 mobile tool stands can be moved around the shed to create floor space where it could be needed. Something that will definitely come in sooner rather than later is a small space outside of the shed that will sit above the conduit which has been trenched in. The armour cable can be then fed into the shed, and consumer unit and lights and power can all be connected up. However, the main function for this little addition is space to house both the air compressor and the dust extractor. Having the dust extractor separate from the workspace means that fine dust that's not captured in its filter will be exhausted to a space where it's not being breathed in. Having the air compressor in this space means that the hose can go into the shed, or it could go out to the driveway if it's needed out there. This also gets 2 big bulky bits of equipment out of the shed and means more internal space. Sticking with the dust extraction though, in a space that's this small and where everything is on wheels, I don't really see an advantage of having ducting and blast gates all over the place. Instead, I plan to run one bit of pipe from the dust extractor to the centre of the shed. From here, we'll have a hose that can connect to it and reach anywhere in the shed. The mobile tool stations will have ducting built into them so that the hose can connect to the correct port for the tool that's going to be used. Anywho, it's been a lot of work to get to this point. When we bought the house, this section of the garden was a wasted space. There was a slope with tree roots that had just been covered in stone chips. I did have great fun playing with a mini digger for a couple of days. I have the progress documented from start to where we are now on the Carter Shed Instagram page. So if you want to see the transformation to get to this point, check that out. Any ideas or suggestions are welcome. Please leave them in a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope that someone might have found this video helpful. Someone might have even found it mildly entertaining. If that's the case, hit the subscribe button and follow along for my quest for shed greatness. Good evening, and thanks for watching.